Welcome to NVC Life. I'm Rachelle Lamb, veteran NVC trainer and relationship coach, helping listeners navigate interpersonal conflict and ground more deeply into relational living. Greetings, fellow humans. Today's episode is on apologies. Saying you're sorry can be a very hard thing to do. Receiving an apology can also be challenging for many people. In the NVC communication model, one of the things that the model stresses is the importance of saying I'm sorry in a full way, which isn't done by simply uttering the words, I'm sorry. In fact, Marshall Rosenberg suggested not saying I'm sorry. He said the best way to apologize is to mourn what needs were not met as a result of our words or actions. He also suggested, and I agree with him on this point, that oftentimes when we say I'm sorry, we're doing it in order to buy forgiveness, and we end up subscribing to the notion of good, bad, right, wrong thinking, which generates suffering and pain for ourselves and others. I also would like to say that I have been in this situation, and I'm imagining listeners have also been in this situation, where someone says, I'm sorry, but it doesn't land for you. Either it doesn't feel sincere, or it doesn't fully acknowledge the pain that we've experienced. You want to strike back and say, no, you're not really sorry. You know, when you're living in a culture where people are told to apologize for things and it's not genuine, they're just doing it because they've been told to do it, then it is not going to be healing in any way to be on the receiving end of an empty apology. I also remember Marshall saying the following, I've never done anything wrong and I never will. I have only done things in the past that I would not have done had I known then what I have since learned. Again, he was trying to shake us from this oppositional binary way of thinking that you had to be on one side of the line or on the other side of the line, the good, bad dividing line. So what people are really wanting when they expect an apology from another person is they're wanting empathy. They're wanting to feel understood, and they want to know that the other person gets why they're upset. So how then do you do an NVC apology? If we're going to observe the 4 steps, you would begin by saying what it is you did. So it could be something like, when I said the following to you, or when I didn't show up when I said I would, when I forgot your birthday, when I forgot our anniversary, when I didn't pick up the kids like I said I would. Okay, you see, I'm simply stating the facts. I'm not saying things like when I let you down, or when I behaved selfishly, or when I did that really stupid thing. This would make it harder for us to actually apologize if we say things like that. It doesn't mean we didn't let another person down, but it's not the best language to really describe what is at the heart of what matters so much to us when we're sincerely expressing regret for actions we've taken or hurtful words that we've spoken. So we make the observation, and let's just say it's something like forgetting an anniversary. I know this happens. When I forgot our anniversary and you were clearly upset, I'm going to imagine that there's no pushback on that. The other person was upset. I can tell you that how I'm feeling now about that is deeply sad. I feel very sad because I know how hurt you were. And you were hoping for some way for us to remember how we got together and for us to be in celebration with each other. I feel really sad that that didn't happen. And I'm wondering how this is landing for you, me saying this. What comes up for you? Now, in that very moment, this is when it can be very hard for a person to accept an apology, because there's that part of us, as Eckhart Tolle used to describe it, as the pain body. The pain body likes a steady diet of grievances. And so sometimes a person will offer a sincere mourning, a sincere apology, and we don't want to accept it. No, you don't get away with it that easily. You've done this so many times, or you've hurt me so many times, or you don't prioritize me. All of the ways in which we somehow think we're being slighted. So to be in the full present moment and really take in an apology requires some movement and openness, willingness on our part. Now, I'm not suggesting here at all that we should simply lay down and be trampled on and get used to ongoing poor behavior, because I know that this can also be something that's occurring. But I'm imagining now a conversation between two adults, two mature adults who make mistakes, who do forget things, and who still love each other. Okay? That's what I'm imagining here. And so it's a moment where a person has a choice to make. If I'm willing to recognize your fallibility and soften my heart and say, I feel touched. I notice I'm still hesitating a little bit, but I feel touched. And also there's a part of me that's still like, I can't believe you did that. At which point the person who's apologizing can say, yeah, I can see it's got to be so surprising. Yeah, I asked myself the same question. How could I forget? And I did. How's it for you to hear that? Oh boy, it's hard. It's hard, yeah. I really appreciate your reaching out to me. You're exposing yourself, and I'm grateful. Thank you. Thank you for doing that. And now this is the moment where two people get to move forward. You know, we can stay stuck in grievance, or we can move forward in a tender-hearted way. We can open our hearts and embrace that we can do something different now. It might go something like this. So, dropped the ball on that one. I missed our anniversary, but I refused to let an opportunity to celebrate our relationship go by. So let's plan something. Do you want to go out for a meal sometime this week? When would be a good time for you? Let's do that. And I will go ahead, I will make reservations, or I'll cook the meal, whatever it is that you plan to do. But it does mean that you're willing to change course at this time. You're willing to put the grievance down and to let the grief, the mourning, that's something you didn't have, that you were so hoping would happen and it didn't happen. Are you willing to put that down and move forward? Because after all, this is someone you love. This is someone who loves you. This is someone who wishes to celebrate you. And so this is why in the NVC model, we say that apology, just saying I'm sorry is too easy. It doesn't really get to the root of things. The other aspect as well is that there are reasons why people do things, why we make mistakes. In this particular scenario, it could be that someone was preoccupied with a new project. They were preoccupied with something and they forgot. They didn't put it on their calendar and they forgot. So their attention was elsewhere. So they were meeting some needs by giving their full attention to something else. Maybe it's connected to their employment, a project, a job. This is how we get paid. This is how the food ends up on the table. So you don't want to berate people for their occasional, I'm going to say, hopefully their occasional mishaps, because they happen. That's part of life. So are you willing to speak a deep mourning, and are you willing to receive a deep mourning? In a culture that uses rewards and punishment so regularly, whether it's in the school system or in the justice system, when that's the way we are with each other, this bleeds into our close relationships. So this is an opportunity to do something entirely different and rid ourselves of the unexamined belief that punishment and reward are the only ways to motivate others to change their behaviors. We have a much better chance of connecting with ourselves and with others when we're motivated by our needs instead of being motivated by punishment and reward. I have a need to be in relationship with you, and part of that is recognizing that I'm a human being who falls down, makes mistakes, but gets back up again. And I want to tell you with all of my heart how important you are to me, how much you matter to me. Let's keep going. That concludes today's episode on apology. Thank you for tuning into NVC Life. For future episodes, be sure to subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, or YouTube. For free resources or to book a private session with me, head over to RachelleLamb.com. Until the next time, stay sane, grateful, and generous.